Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Friday, August 31st, and we're kind of in a weird position because I started early last time and I got the Tavern Brawl done on the Americas account, but did not get it done on the European or Asian account. And so this is going to be a weird day, certainly. This is, I would say, half sleepy, half regular. I am back to my regular time, but I am a little bit sleepy. I laid down and then sleep, but relaxed for a couple hours before this. So I'm hoping I can power through the stream and then be actually close to falling asleep at the end of the stream. So I would be back on a consistent sleep schedule, at least as much as you can get that for somebody who suffers for as severe insomnia as I do. Need to play 30 rogue class cards and play a bunch of even cost cards. This daily quest is a new one, definitely. And we're getting to the end of the month, so if I never made it to rank 20, which I'm pretty sure I did make it to rank 20 or rank 19 on all of my accounts, I would be in a bad position. Apparently this is the month you get the lemonade card back, if that's interesting to anybody. None of these card backs are frankly interesting to me at all. I find them ridiculous and pointless and should be potentially just something that comes out or is given to you
versus Rexa
infrequently. I would much prefer
None can escape
that
my fury.
You instead of using the reaching rank 20 as a reward to give card backs, I would have preferred that they give you a care package that was just like you get one you get like one card pack and some gold and some dust. And I'm already pausing. I'm also reading YouTube creators tweeting out, all caps perform worse. This is not a myth. So don't all caps your videos on YouTube, which, okay, I'm glad they settled that, I suppose. The thing is, they're doing on Creator Insider for YouTube a breakdown on how the algorithm determines to highlight and promote your videos, and every response is not very informative and really just boils down to we don't use anything. We don't use tags. We don't use your descriptions. We don't use the title. They're literally just trying to push the narrative that people don't buy into, because honestly, there is good reason not to believe YouTube. There's good reason to believe that YouTube doesn't even know what their own algorithm does or looks at.
Justice is mine.
But what they want to try and do is stop people from trying to manipulate the system and get an unfair advantage and get their videos seen more than what YouTube wants them to be seen as. But the problem is, everybody is so desperate to get their video to get any views at all, and the algorithm has just gotten so bad. I was thinking about this, and it really would just be fine by me if there was a new service that that limited the number of posts you could put in a day to one. Like, in all honesty, I think one works fine.
Justice is mine.
Let's see. This would be nice if it activated this one. I should have killed that one first. Honestly, that was a bad move. Had I attacked, had I done that, then it would have been a 50-50 shot of either bringing up a 1/1 Lich King or bringing up that minion. There's almost 100% guarantee because then this one could have died in the next turn. Yeah, played very poorly there. Yeah, so yeah, everybody on YouTube's desperate. At the moment, I guess for the past year, I haven't really thought to do or add anything new to my system of what I label or how I'm labeling. I think I'm sort of experimenting with going back and forth on whether putting HD 1080p 60 frames per second on the title helps or not. I have nowhere big enough of an audience to even know, and even people with giant audiences, even PewDiePie, I don't think still get to know because videos are just so random. Very, very random. Speaking of random, I screwed up on the scheduling of the now daily answers to the Boomsday puzzles that are coming out on my channel. So 2 puzzles came out yesterday. It's not a huge deal, it's just that's 1 day less of time I can buy myself with that content, and I'm seeing that content seems like it is working pretty well. That people are coming directly to those videos, which I heavily suspected would be the case, is that I would get more views on those type things, but inherently those videos don't tend to push anybody into watching any of my other videos. It does seem like it connects people. Once they see one of my videos, they start getting recommendations on my other videos, which is good, but it's certainly not forcing anybody to actually click on those links. And after a friendly minion dies out of 1/1 copy to your hand, it costs 1.
Come, try your luck.
Let's see. Did not play that right.
Monsters behind you.
Man, I could just keep on playing the same cards over and over again. Got that right. Moving on. I feel like this is a stream that could fall apart at any second. So I might end up having to end early and go to like a post-show. So I need to move on and not meander. Although I think I am going to meander regardless. PC Gamer has an article. Microsoft confirms next big update to Windows 10 will arrive in October. Otherwise known as Redstone 5. Which... okay. Let's see. Like, the weird thing here is that there's kind of nothing there for Windows 10 to add or update or change or do anything at all. So, yeah. I have no idea what update my Windows 10 is even on. So, if I'm on Redstone 3 that came out on October 17th, 2017, almost a year ago,
versus Gul'dan.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. Wouldn't be surprised if I'm on Redstone 1 from 2016. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm still on like the January 29th Threshold 1 2015 Windows 10 release. Like, I have no idea. And with the exception of a few things, like installing Paint 3D has been probably the biggest change I've even seen on Windows. Maybe that's just because I configured things the way I wanted it to be, or maybe that's just because I don't use Windows software. I guess I don't use Windows software. Moving on, Superplex Go is available on Steam. This is the game that is being released in weird ways by a developer. Like, his first game was called Superplex, came out in 2016, May 9th. It's rated 91% positive with 12 users. It's $9.99. And then in the course of between August 21 and August 31 of 2018, he has released Superplex Go, Superplex Squares, and Superplex Hard, and there's a Superplex bundle. So yeah, there's definitely some weirdness happening with all of this, where he's basically selling the exact same game. I did go through all the games, or most of the games, and filtered out a lot of just standard garbage. I don't really feel like there's a need. This is probably going to be an infrequent thing. I don't think I'm always going to do it and filter, but also, you know, when I think about how the co-optional podcast went from we're talking about all the games, and then we're talking about the games that interest us, to we're not talking about the games at all, I think I'm probably potentially going down that same path. I do want to always talk about games that catch my interest because it helps me. I don't think I'm ever going to get so big that, and frankly, I don't want to get so big that I'm just playing the big AAA games and nothing else. But Steam certainly has the ability to wear you down with the way so many bad games are allowed to be released every week. Like, in the same way that I would be perfectly happy if a replacement for YouTube only allowed people to upload one video a day, I've said it many times, I think Valve should limit the number of games that one developer or one publisher can release to one a month, or one a week at least. Moving on, PC Gamer has an article, Nazi tattoos removed from survival game Scum, developer apologizes. The developer and studio had said the tattoos inclusion was a mistake after an initial abrasive statement from a community manager. Now I'm looking at the back of somebody's head that looks like it has some kind of glowing port on the back of it, and I'm trying to see which one is the Nazi tattoo. Like, in the middle there's like a Celtic knot with the port right in the middle, so I doubt that's it. I guess I'm not super knowledgeable on this subject, so there might be something here. To the left of the Celtic knot is the number 14. To the right of the Celtic knot is the number 88, or like a Skechers S. That very linear S that everybody drew. in in school or earlier. Okay, below the 14 is a cross with curved edges with a skull in front of it. I bet that is the Nazi tattoo, as they're calling it. Below the 88, which I'll assume is this 1488. Maybe it's the year 1488, but like that doesn't seem right either. Play this. And this. And this. And just keep on playing. And then return. Probably shouldn't have sent that guy back to the hand. I should have waited to see what happens. Below the 88 is 2 hearts with side by side with arrows through them, so I doubt that's a Nazi tattoo. And then on the below all of that is a neck tattoo that says A period C period A period B period. Let's see. An iron cross with skull in the centers, and the numbers 14 and 88. 14 and 88 are notorious white supremacist symbols. 14 is reference to the infamous 14 words, quote, "We must secure the existence of our people in the future for white children," while 88 is soft code for the 8th letter of the alphabet. Thus translate in shorthand for Heil Hitler.
Think.
What? I don't understand that at all. This seems like quite a bit of stretch on the 88 and the 14. Like, seems like quite a bit of a stretch. Let's see, what is the 8th letter of the alphabet? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H.
Quickly.
So it's H8 is what, like HH. Well, even if you had a tattoo that said HH on your neck, I think it's a little bit. Let's see. An initial reaction from one member of the Scum team was to dismiss complaints outright. If you are offended by some textures in the game, please don't play the game. Protein Incubator and Marketing Manager Xenoslav wrote in a thread-locking message on Steam. Because if we start removing things that hurt someone's feelings, it will be an empty game with no people, no weapons, no blood, no humor. And no effing pooping, killing others, eating human flesh, killing animals. Next quote is here. We are not right wing, we are not Nazi supporters, we are not even Germans. And the only offending thing here, in my opinion, is calling us Nazi supporters for no reason. So they seem to take a big offense at it, and rightfully so.
Such a price for power.
Let's see. Of course, the problem here is the publisher. The Devolver, the game's publisher, responded differently, saying that it does not agree with the use of Nazi symbols or any hateful content regardless of intended. Like, the use of the tattoo was intended to assist in portraying a realistic element of prison culture and the horde elements. Let's see.
Justice is mine.
Gotta remember to play. The content has been patched out this morning, and Devolver Digital is currently conducting a full review of all assets and content within the game in the game with GameSpires. The publisher said, "Who's GameSpires?" I thought it was Crow Team that made the game. We strongly condemn any and all use of hateful symbology in games to degree. It should have never been in the game regardless of creative intent or realism. Devolver Digital apologizes unservedly. This is a Polygon article that PC Gamer is just repeating. Which, of course, Polygon's the worst. So we just, like, one step forward and one step back. After many years of Germany refusing to allow swastikas in realistic, non-positive depictions to exist in games, you just have another you have regular SJWs now just calling for for censorship, which is what they've been doing for a very long time now, is heavily asking for everything and anything to be censored. I'm looking at these tattoos. I'm looking at the back of the neck, and you heard me describe them. Like, I would never have even thought for a second that the number 14 means anything. So you would have to actually be a white supremacist to even know that, I would imagine, or at least very familiar with the subject. So I can't take offense from the number 14 or the number 88 because of that. Inherently, too, also you have a Celtic cross on the back of your neck, so that's hardly sticking with a pure Aryan race mentality in the first place. But I imagine hypocrisy is often common. And the skull and cross, I could see any number of random people getting tattoos like that, not knowing what it was. Like, if I had seen this picture and people had asked me what's wrong with this picture, I would have clearly said the glowing port in the back of the head. And as far as I understand, Scum is supposed to be this, like, hardcore game. It's supposed to, but now you have the artists being censored by the publisher because it made waves and somebody complained, Polygon complained. And this is Devolver Digital too, you know, the people that do the E3 streams that they don't care at all. Devolver Digital that pretends like it doesn't care and it's just gonna do whatever it wants. Well, no, apparently not. Apparently they can be bullied into doing whatever the SJWs want to do in the same way as so many other publishers can be bullied. And there will be another story of this exact same thing. In a weird way, I kind of, now more than ever, due to the controversy, have this knee-jerk reaction to just go play Scum or go buy it just to support it in solidarity. But I don't know if that's even, like, does the message go out now? Because I wasn't gonna buy Scum before. If I buy it now that it's been censored, I'm supporting censorship. At least in a small part in my mind. So I certainly can't boycott it. The only thing I could say is that people who are anti-censorship who were going to buy Scum should probably tweet Digital Devolver and say, I'm not buying your game now because you've cowed down to censorship and hysteria, and that just tells me that your game is going to get worse and worse and worse, as more and more things get demanded to be censored. Let's see. Moving on, Rock Paper Shotgun has an article. After 24 years, Doom 2's final secret has been found. John Romero just congratulated Doom Guru Zero Master on discovering the last hidden secret in Doom 2 after some 24 years after it was released. A secret that had previously been thought impossible to actually find. Which, the question I guess becomes, why was it thought it was impossible to find? Did they think that it didn't actually exist, or that it was just in an inaccessible area?
Job's done.
Let's see. Let's see. Quote, "It is normally impossible to register secret number 4, as the secret sector in question, sector 147, is located adjacent to the raised teleport pad and is only 16 units wide. This setup completely prevents the units from touching this sector's floor, as is required to trigger the secret, because upon crossing the sector's boundary, they are immediately raised onto the pad and teleported away. Therefore, the maximum secrets percentage one can ordinarily get on this map is 90%. Let's see. Gotta remember to keep playing. Unless it turns out, the quote is finished now, unless it turns out you get pushed into it by a demon. Jump to 3 minutes in the video to see how the rare uneventful moment occur. So there's a video here, and
I wonder.
We'll jump to 3 minutes. And so the person's playing Doom 2. They're standing on a curved hallway, and a demon came around in the corner of a curved stairwell and pushed him onto the secret. And it just said the secret has been revealed, and that was kind of it. And then, so what does he do for the rest of this? The rest of this recording.
Justice is mine.
See, ideally I'd want this to trigger. I don't know how you get that to trigger though. Let's see, this video continues for another 4 minutes plus. I have no idea what Doom level this is, Doom 2 level. But at the end, he got everything, kills, items, and secrets at 100%. So another quote here, the trick has something to do with the moving door and the pain elemental spawning a lost soul.
Warriors of the frozen wastes, rise.
Justice is mine.
So I guess I get on here instead. The trick has something to do with the moving door and the pain elemental spawning a lost soul on top of you. This forces you down into the lowest floor the moving door is on, which puts you within the secret sector and on the same height, thus triggering the secret.
Let me
So
think.
this really feels like this was not a secret that was intentional.
The victory is yours.
So it really seems like it was just a bugged secret that they, since every level had secrets. And that certainly explains why it took 25 years to get that secret. Okay. There was a story, I'd say about 6 months ago, of a much better hidden Easter egg in one of the Doom games that actually was something. This is actually a very boring article. Suppose it's nice to see that people still have some love for the original Doom games, but I doubt that's ever going to really change. There will always be a cult following. Moving on, we have a game on Steam called Gravity Leo. Gravity Leo is a 2D platformer based on interesting mechanics and features. The main one of them is the use of gravity. So you're playing as this cat that's not animated too bad, and you're flipping around, avoiding lasers and buzzsaws. You know, I'm watching this video and already I'm bored with it. It really does seem like you're just doing the same thing over and over again, and it seems like it would cause motion sickness very, very quickly. Like the entire screen is rotating when every other instance of having a gravity manipulator character, the character has manipulated themselves. In this instance, the cat is always facing upright and the screen rotates. Let's see, this is in English and Russian, has 32 achievements, it's 40% off for $2.39. It looks probably, let's see, this developer made Lost in the Woods 2 also, but apparently not 1, or that's not on Steam. Yeah, Gravity Leo, not interesting. Play this. Let's get this.
Justice is
This. And then inventory. Gamma Sutra has an article. Final Fantasy 14 has surpassed 14 million lifetime registered players. So Final Fantasy 14 is the MMORPG Final Fantasy that launched in 2010 and relaunched in 2013. 14 million is a big number. That but it is certainly not active. Not active users. This time last year, according to Gamma Sutra, they only had 10 million registered players, so they got another 44 million in 1 year to sign up for the game and try it, but no telling how many people really stayed and played, or how long they stayed and played. Gamma Sutra has a video article. That game company shares how devs build a cohesive team. If I had more time, which I certainly don't, I have so much work to do. As far as scheduling and just editing videos, particularly the Hearthstone puzzle solution videos. Plus also recording the last thing I need to record for October, which would be Dead Space 2. If I had free time though, I might watch that. Team building is probably one of my worst skills. Like, I've never really been in a position where I've needed to build a team, but also I don't think I'd be very good if I was asked to do it, or at least I would struggle with it a little bit. And then play this.
Justice is mine.
Still just trying to play rogue cards and regular cards. Moving on, PC Gamer has an article, CitizenCon digital ticket plan scrapped following uproar among Star Citizen fans. Chris Roberts said Cloud Imperium will scale back its streaming plans but make the full event available to everyone. What they wanted you to do is pay $20 for a digital ticket to access all the live streamed events, which was never going to work in the first place and is extremely greedy. Because if not me, some other YouTuber would have spent $20, or some other Twitch streamer would have spent $20 and paid for this ticket and then streamed it and commented over it and claimed fair use and be in the right, whether or not it got taken down or otherwise. Speaking of talking over events, one of my E3 videos is blocked worldwide and I cannot edit it because it's so long. So this just I believe it's the Square Enix 2018 E3 presentation is just unavailable to be viewed. So apologies to anybody who may have wanted to see that this late in the day. I doubt the numbers are too high on how many people really cared to watch that. Like, the numbers weren't too high even when it was brand new. This article continues, the complaints arose from two rather obvious points. First, that Star Citizen has pulled in more than $193 million in crowdfunding. So zipping people for $20 to see what's going on seems pretty chintzy. That's a couple of interesting phrases. That's a little too colloquial, I think, when writing the articles.
There once was a man from Yeti.
And second, despite being in development since 2011, it's still not actually out yet. So they're not even talking about the fact that somebody would have streamed this for free and people who paid the $20 to watch it. There's no way to stop people from rebroadcasting your live stream. No way. Nothing's gonna stop that. Particularly if the people rebroadcasting do not care one bit about making any money off of it. Let's see. Gamatsu has an article, The World Ends With You, Final Remax, PAX West 2018 gameplay. So they have a video of some gameplay they were showing off at PAX West. The World Ends With You Final Remix is due out for the Switch on September 27th in Japan and October 12th in North America and Europe. And I don't think there's... Wait,
Job's done.
I don't think it's coming out for any other service. Sadly, it's just a Switch. And it still looks like the same game. As far as I understand it, it looks like the same game, and which is mostly it was a music game, so I can't hear the audio, of course. Moving on, we have Coffee Talk on Steam now, which says its release date is before midnight, sometime in 2019. And Coffee Talk is a, well, they say it is a coffee brewing and heart-to-heart talking simulator about listening to fantasy-inspired modern people's problems and helping them by serving up a warm drink or two.
I wonder.
There's a previous game that came out earlier called Valhalla. It was pretty overhyped, in my opinion.
Such a price for power.
It may have been good, but it certainly was not so great that every person who ever plays video games needed to play it. I kind of like the animation style for Coffee Talk a little bit better, and I think there might be a little bit more gameplay here, but it still does very much just fall under a talking visual novel style game, and it's not out yet, so it'll be in English and simplified Chinese. I'll put it on my wish list, but also there's not too much that needs to be said about it until it actually comes out and there's an actual review. We're just slowly drudging along, hovering at the same 2 stars for rank 19. Next game we have on Steam is called Battle Blade. It has some MS Paint level graphics, which looks like it's a fighting game with swords that shoot off energy beams. It's like a total joke of a game. Very low effort. 13 achievements, 10% off for $3.59. Seems like the price that these low effort games want has gone up too. Interestingly enough. Next game we have is called Cake. That's 6 M's, 3 periods, then the word cake with an exclamation mark. Little Cake needs... It says, Little Cake need to escape from this world. Use your mouse to jump across the obstacles. Can you help him, please? So, while this game has a 3D blocky art style that looks kind of interesting, and it's clear that this is a slightly thought through puzzle of a puzzle game with platforming, and it's not just randomly collected. I still very much would say this is probably an asset flip more than an actual game. Like, it seems like they got some 3D assets. Good. There's 9 achievements. It's 40% off for $1.19. I could see a lot of streamers playing a game like this and thinking it's funny and just, you know, talking about it for one stream. That would be the entirety of their interaction with it. But in the real world, for real players, I can't say that anybody would really want to play this game. This developer is also a developer that made this game called Momo.exe, and that looked like a very low effort horror game too, so yeah, it seems like this is probably closer to a troll developer than somebody really trying to sell a good product. After your hero text, get +1/+1. I could just, you know, do this. And do that. And do that.
Justice is mine.
Played wrong there. I should have used my weapon to kill this minion so I could have kept the other minions on the field. Next game we have on Steam is called Synthwave Dream 85. It's some kind of neon racing game with like frame, what would you call that? Line textures, no textures.
I wonder.
Well, a car has textures. That is definitely true. but the backgrounds don't. They just have a wireframe. Wireframe is the word. Wireframe
Justice is mine.
all around you. Again, this doesn't look like a quality product. 5 achievements, 15% off for $6.79. I wouldn't say that this is just an extremely low effort game, but it just doesn't look good. It's the first game from this developer. Doesn't stand out. Which it seems like I'm gonna end up saying that for every game I talk about today. And remember, I had already filtered out a bunch of the really bad looking games. But it is Friday too, so it's not super surprising that a lot of things would have been rushed out towards the end of the week. Next game we have is a game called Vegetaball. Vegetaball. Says psychic powers vegetables in the sport meet for the first time in Vegetaball. Choose your favorite big veggie, master the psychic arts to jump, dash, shoot, and dodge your way to victory. Team up with friends in a physics-based competitive online sports arena. So this does look sort of like a game, but it seems like it's also kind of crazy. It doesn't feel like it's a smooth, fast-moving style of game, so I get the feeling that it would be a very slow experience and not super interesting experience to play. It's bright and colorful, but not very detailed in its animation. The reason you're playing as vegetables makes no sense. It's only online multiplayer, so it's out for me already. It's 25% off for $7.49. Let's see. It's the first game from this developer. I think it's easy enough to say people could probably very easily skip Vegetaball and never miss it.
I concede.
Gamatsu has an article. Observer is coming to the Switch. The cyberpunk horror game from Bloober Team, the creators of Layers of Fear. And in a weird way, I think Observer is just kind of very much a continuation of the same idea of Layers of Fear. And I would be very happy probably playing Observer next year for Halloween, for October, and saying, well, Layers of Fear kind of sucked, but at least they improved it in Observer a little bit. But I kind of already know that they only improve the gameplay functions a little bit. I don't think it was a massive increase, and I'm not really of the opinion that companies need to make their second game that they make twice as good or massively better than their first game. I mean, it can certainly be iterative. I would argue more that the first game that a company releases needs to catch everybody's attention. So, for instance, Cuphead's developers, Cuphead 2 or whatever they release next, doesn't have to be, in my opinion, twice as good as Cuphead 1, but it does need to be better than Cuphead 1 in some ways, in most ways.
An incredible discovery!
Let's see, will this load? Yes, PC Gamer has an article. EA will donate $1 million to the families of the Jacksonville shooting victims. A tribute live stream will be run next week, and a fund for community donations has also been established. This is interesting. I want to get some more details before I throw out my tinfoil hat theory on this, which sadly I have too many of those. I did hear another YouTuber talk about Madden as a game in particular, and how the way that game is designed doesn't really support competitive play, and it will try to balance and cause people to lose in ways that they might very well be justified in being upset about how they lost. In the same way that the blue shell in earlier versions of the Mario Kart allowed you to cause yourself to lose and die. Might as well keep playing.
Guess again.
And there's like really no way to defeat the blue shell in Mario Kart. Let's see. So, following the shooting in Jacksonville on Sunday, EA canceled the remaining qualifiers for the Madden Classic tournament on Tuesday. Now the publisher will donate $1 million to the victims' families and will establish a community fund for others to contribute alongside the donation, which inherently the company like, I just don't feel like that's for EA to do, is to establish a fund for other people to donate and be a middleman. Like, there's really no reason why they should be involved. They should just donate the money that they're gonna donate, and even if they donated the money that they were gonna donate through some other charity, that would be fine too. Let's see. A tribute live stream will be held on Thursday, September 6th. Let's see. There's a Twitter picture that they sent that's pretty much says all of this. EA promises more details very soon. So, all in all, this looks like it's on the up and up. But there's two things I would point out. It's time to put on the tinfoil hat and go on a journey with me. One, EA is probably civilly and very potentially criminally liable for the deaths of everyone involved. The shooter and the other victim and the victims. Simply because they were just not running good security. Like, so if the families of the victims decide to sue EA, as they probably should, they will get individually not a fraction of $1 million, but well over $1 million, I would guess, each for each family. Right. So, with no details, there's no way to corroborate this, but I wouldn't be surprised if there is some catch or legal support that comes about by giving $1 million or giving any amount of money to the victims, and in the same way that often insurance companies for car insurance will give victims of an accident a check, and if you cash the check on the back of the check, or just in law, once you cash the check, you've agreed to all the terms and you can't get any more money. And so often it is better to not cash the check if you really because that check will be a lowball, and that's what this $1 million, which would be a fraction of $1 million for the people. The other issue is $1 million is really low. 2, so even if they were going to do this, this should be closer to the $5 or $10 million range. And then even in reading the article, I thought of a third issue, which is why are they setting up a fund? Here's the thing there. It's like, why are they directly setting up a fund too? It's like, why is this not like what would there be? There's got to be some charity out there that's victims of gun violence that already exists. They could have stepped in and run a fund. There's probably, more than likely, a generic charity out there that would have run this perfectly fine. So, yeah. Seems crazy. Seems really crazy. But, of course, nobody's gonna tinfoil hat like I do. Because if PC Gamer puts out these speculations, they risk looking dumb when EA says, no, actually, we still fully expect to be sued. This is just us trying to do the right thing. And I'm sure EA and PC Gamer are kind of tight, so they're putting as positive a spin as this could be on it. This is going to be the last game we play for this recording too. But yeah. How much was raised again this year for Doctors Without Borders at Awesome Games Done Quick? Wasn't it 40 million? All donated from by individuals. So
Is here.
if a bunch of people, a bunch of individuals can donate 40 million, at 1 million seems really, really small. And
Protocol 7 engaged.
And one almost assumes that EA has not even talked to any of the victims' families. I bet they've never said anything to them, and they went out and tried to get publicity and spin before they did anything else.
Chill out. Chill out.
Let's see. Let's see. Moving on. Let's see. Darksiders Twitter announced that they are bringing back the composer Chris Velasco for the third entry, Darksiders 3. It's kind of very late into development since that game has a release date and it's only a couple months away for them to say, hey, yeah, this composer, he is actually coming back to the game. I guess it didn't really... I guess they assume that he can do all the music and get it in there. Or maybe he was working behind the scenes and they just are staggering announcements. I don't know. Could be either, actually. GameIndustry.biz has an article. Peggy adds in-game purchases warning to box games. The descriptor will be added to physical releases by the end of the year. So now any physical box game coming out with a Peggy rating, which is the European Games Board rating, will have that marker. Which, in all fairness, the Amazon, the Google App Store, and the Apple App Store have had that same warning for a while. Let's see. I'm gonna play this 3. That's the only card I have that's not using. I can't think this is a bad thing. More information is always good. I do believe I don't have an article about it, but I think they also leaked like some of the categories for the new filtering function on Valve. So what specifically they're breaking down all the sexual content into. But it's kind of a leak, and there seems to be some pretty good chances that stuff is going to get announced at PAX. So as soon as PAX happens, I suspect we will see some things happen differently there. Well, that's it for the Americas account, and that's it for this recording. Now I need to switch over to the European account. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, I'm asking people to friend me on Steam and gift me a game, or you could donate to my Patreon. The information's down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.